Hello, Mr. Jeffrey. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Bill.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jeff Merrill. I'm up in Richmond, California at the Pacific Sail and Power Boat Show with Bill Kimley, the builder of Seahorse Trawlers. You do the diesel ducts in steel and the Seahorse Trawlers in fiberglass. Done some sailboats. Bill, we've gotten to know each other pretty well over the years, and you come over from China once a year just to kind of see your local neighborhood. You grew up in the Richmond area.
Well, I actually didn't grow up here. I moved here, had a boat brokerage here, and I worked for UC Berkeley for many years in this area. So I really like this area.
You're a Cal guy?
Yep, 61.
You graduated from Cal in 61?
Yep.
Stanford guy, so we've got a little bit of big game rivalry.
Clark Kerr side by boat.
Okay, all right. Anyway, that doesn't matter. What matters is we both love trawlers. We both love being out on the water, and we're now on a Coot. Tell me a little bit about the Coot.
Well, the Coot is a 30. It comes in two versions: a 36 and a 38-foot version, and it's basically a small, what you would call a pocket trawler. And a pocket trawler, it looks like a trawler, it's strong like a trawler, but you don't cross oceans in it. And it's meant for coastal cruising. It's designed by George Bueller, who designed our diesel ducts. His goal was to make a very seaworthy boat.
Now, the Coot was named because you thought it was a
We thought it
duck,
was
right?
a small duck. And this is a little small fat boat, so we figured it was a small.
Maybe a mud hen would almost have been a better name for
Well,
it.
maybe.
Could, but it's too late now. We've already got all the brochures.
Yeah, we got the brochures printed.
You started out as a yacht broker. Did you have your own brokerage, or are you working for somebody else?
Well, in California, you have to work as a salesman for a year to get your broker's license. So I worked for Kurt Adams over in Alameda, who was the Grand Banks dealer.
Okay.
This would have been very late 70s. And then I opened my own brokerage here in Richmond around the Santa Fe Channel.
And what was the name of your brokerage?
Santa Fe Yacht Sales.
Santa Fe Yacht Sales.
Yeah, the building's still there with us.
But you have a railroad theme going there with that Santa Fe too, don't you?
Well, Santa Fe owns that channel, and of course they're the Santa Fe Railroad, so it's called the Santa Fe Channel. And I collect model trains and antique toy trains. The Santa Fe is a very prominent name in the railroad, both modeling and real.
I'm used to seeing you wearing an engineer hat. I mean, you've changed your headgear.
Jeffrey, it wore out.
Oh, well, you can probably get another one.
Well, I'm looking. You can get kids ones.
If you guys have a train engineer cap, let's get it to Bill in China. They probably make them there.
The big problem, Jeffrey, is that my phone has facial recognition. When I change my hat, it doesn't recognize me anymore.
Well, you don't want your phone to recognize you anyway.
That's what turns it on.
You don't even know your own phone number, do you? You don't dial it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And I've got one of those Chinese phones where the government's listening to everything you say, so I have to be careful.
Yeah, I think our Alexa listens to everything. And there's a lot of things listening in. There's a lot of data collection in the world. So you went from being a yacht broker to being a boat builder in the span of a half century.
Well, when I got out of college, I worked in research management from 64 till late 70s.
What kind of research were you managing?
I was a business manager for the physics department at UC Berkeley.
Oh, so you're kind of a smart guy.
Oh, I'm so damn smart.
Well, what are you doing in the boat business?
Yeah, exactly. So
okay.
Exactly.
It's that Cal Stanford thing again, I think.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
No, it is fun.
There's probably nothing more fun than boat business.
I think you're right. So what was the first boat that you built on your own? Maybe did you do something before Seahorse, or how did we go from Santa Fe to Seahorse Marine?
I was importing small trawlers from Taiwan.
Okay.
And one of them had a large cockpit, and I wanted to use it as a commercial fishing boat. And it turns out that you cannot use foreign hulls for commercial fishing unless the whole fish hole...
Jones Act?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if the fish hole is less than 100 Thames tons. You know what a Thames ton is?
No, I've never even heard of that.
It's the amount of space taken by a ton of rice.
By a ton of rice?
Yeah.
Boy, they don't count it by the grain, do they?
No,
okay,
I don't know. But anyway, if you get below that level, you can use a foreign hull for foreign fishing.
Okay.
So I made several of them. They're still fishing here in the bay.
Fiberglass or were those
fiberglass 31-foot boat made by Tonghua in Kaohsiung.
Okay, Kaohsiung, yep.
Tonghua is now the builder of the Fleming boats.
Oh, wow. So you started them way back when?
That was back in the late 70s.
Were they building any recreational or commercial boats before that? Or
no, Tonghua was a part of the Hua shipyards.
Okay.
Fuhua, CHB, and Tonghua.
Okay.
They're all kind of owned by the same bunch of
Same family
Taiwanese guys.
Okay, same outfit.
Yeah, and they made yachts, but in '82 we had this problem with fuel. The yacht sales went way down, so everybody was looking for the most economical
Cost of
yacht.
fuel was up.
Yeah,
Gas
and
prices.
guess whose little 31-foot trawler was the most economical?
Yours was.
Mine.
What was that called again?
Well, we called it a Seahorse because the fishing version was actually a boat that was working out at sea.
Yes.
So it's a working boat.
Horses are known
Horses
as
are
animals,
working animal, and then we just kept that name for our business.
Okay. So you actually were the marketing and sales and design end of that, and the WAs were building them. When did you actually, how did it evolve from there? What happened next?
Well, I was bringing in the MMC 36, which is called the Monk 36 now.
Okay.
And there was also a small Lefevre boat that was being made up in Thailand, importing them. And I got involved in changing the designs quite a bit. And then I found a set of molds, which I purchased for a boat that I figured had a lot of potential.
What size?
It was called the Mariner 50. It was designed by Blaine Seeley.
Okay.
It was a motor sailor. 17 were made in Taiwan. And the molds were for sale in Long Beach. Why they brought them back to the States, I don't know.
Interesting.
But the design...
It's a hull mold and a deck mold and some different deck fitting parts.
all in Long Beach. I bought them and shipped them back, but I decided to ship them to China rather than Taiwan. So I was the first guy to go.
You were the first guy building boats in China.
I was the first guy to go from Taiwan to China.
Okay, and that was what year? 70s or 80s?
1889 was when I moved here.
No, not 1889.
No,
I know you are an old-looking guy, but yeah.
But I'm confused because I did do work in Hong Kong starting in '85.
Okay.
So then in 1989 I moved everything to China.
Okay. Now, how did you figure out where you were going to go in China? Did you have connections there?
Well, I had a lot of friends that knew in Hong Kong and places that knew the ropes in China.
Okay.
And one of the things that I was told, I'm not really sure we should be recording this, but that Shenzhen, which is a big area near Hong Kong,
Yes.
had a trading company in it which was notorious for taking over foreign enterprises.
Oh, so you were worried about getting set up and then getting gobbled up.
Exactly. Colin Halverson had trouble with it. A lot of people had trouble with this outfit. So I decided to go to Zhuhai over by Macau instead.
Okay. But how did you know you had connections? So did you lease land there, or how did you?
No. At that time, I was pretty much of a novice in China. And I looked in the Hong Kong phone book. That's back when they had a phone book.
Phone books. Wow, I've heard of them. Yeah.
And there was a company called Zhuhai Trading International. I figured, well, they'll have Trading International.
Trading, yeah.
So I called them up, and nobody spoke English.
Yeah.
But they said, call back at 4:30, and the nice lady answered and said how good the shipyards were in China and how the banks had lots of money, could handle letters of credit, no problem. So through her, I arranged to ship the molds to a Chinese fishing boat yard.
Okay. Oh, so it was already a boat building yard.
Yeah, well, doing fishing boats. And their idea of a good boat was one that didn't sink when it was launched.
That is a good idea, but there should be a little bit more than that.
Yeah, exactly. So I called her up and said, these guys don't really know how to build yachts, and the banks don't seem to have any money. They were just supporting the old communist system.
Right.
And so she said she'd come over and fix 6 things. So she came over and fixed things, and later I married her, and we have a partnership, and her name is Stella, and we work together very well. She does the hard work. I do the...
And she spoke English.
Well, she actually was one of 10 people that graduated from Guangzhou University during the Cultural Revolution as an English major.
Wow.
And
the future.
Yeah, so she, because of that experience, she knows all the whistle words and knows.
Does she know how lucky she was to meet you?
Oh, I don't think she thinks that way.
I did that for you. Yeah. Okay. And now you have a family over there.
Well, Stella has a family.
Okay.
I don't.
So
I have a cat.
What's your cat's name?
Well, I have a cat. His name is Snowshoes.
Snowshoes.
Because he has snowshoes.
And then Stella is, while you're over here goofing off, pretending like you're at the boat show selling boats, the rest of the family's over there building boats. And what do you have going in the production line right now?
Well, Stella's been very busy the last couple of weeks because we just finished up a 78-foot diesel duct. That's it.
78-foot diesel deck. Okay.
It's RENA certified for ice conditions, and it's going to be used for boutique charters in the Antarctic.
Wow.
Now, you can't believe the complications we had with the Chinese government getting that boat out of the country. So she's been handling that.
So it's going to leave on its own bottom.
Oh, it's already left.
Okay, it already had left. Yeah. And what do you know what the name of the charter company is? Because people might be interested.
Stranick is the name, and he has a website. He's done this extreme travel for years using Russian ships. They've all wore out, and he's buying this one from us, and possibly will be buying another one. But it's a very interesting business because paying passengers into the Antarctic requires a pretty special certification.
Well, and you certainly couldn't do that right away out of the gate. So you built your way up from the 31 footers. Then you were building the first boats in China, and you had already come up with the Seahorse name. When did George Bueller come into the picture? How did you meet George, and how did you get involved in diesel ducts?
Well, we were building fiberglass and some steel boats I was making for Cathay pilots to live on in Hong Kong.
Right.
And somebody brought in a set of plans for a 46-foot diesel duct. And I thought, my God, that's the ugliest boat I ever saw. And the guy never did buy a boat.
Okay.
But he left his plans behind. And I kept looking at him and looking at him. And I said, you know, if I was going to cross the ocean, this is the kind of boat I'd want.
Yeah, they're pretty. I mean, they take a little adjustment getting used to it. It's an acquired taste, maybe.
Yes.
But they are stout. I mean, I've been lucky enough to be involved in the sale of a couple of them and spent some time offshore on them, and they're a good boat. So you had the plans, and you're in China. Did you just start building one, or what?
Well, no. Later on, I got an order for one.
Okay.
It was a 44. And then immediately 2 more orders came in for 44s. Those 3 boats are still sailing around the world today.
Wow.
And then I realized that we had some problems. George's interiors were kind of stressed because he had 2 stairways, one from the pilot house to the aft cabin,
Right.
and one from the pilot house to the forward cabin. So you were wasting a lot of room.
Right.
And then I looked at the engine room, and the engine room was got all the floor space in there. It wasn't being used. So I did something nobody else has done, I think. I put the galley in the engine room. So you can walk through the galley from the main salon to the aft cabin.
I have never heard of the galley in the engine. I've heard of engine rooms that were so clean you could eat in the engine room, but I've never heard of the galley in the engine room.
Our galley.
You probably started that whole comment.
Well, it works fine because you got your passageway to the aft cabin. The galley is now not in the main salon. And that's one of the things my wife insists on. She does not like she does not want cooking or eating in the living room, she says.
Okay.
So we have a separate living room. We've got the galley and the passageway through. But the neat thing is we have a stand-up engine room right beside the galley.
Well, what I mean, seriously, you got a galley in the engine room with a stove and a sink and a refrigerator?
Well, no, there's a bulkhead there, Jeff, with a watertight door. I mean, we just don't set your place on the engine.
I don't have the imagination you do. I'm trying to conceptualize.
You've been on the 46. You've done videos of it. You know what we're talking about.
Well, but that galley is right opposite the engine room, not in the engine room.
Well, it would be if the engine room went all the way to the...
If it was a full beam
engine room.
then
it would be in the engine room. So we're using engine room space.
I get it. That makes sense.
For the galley.
Now that's logical. I understand you now. Sorry, I'm a little bit
He's
slow.
a little slow.
Yeah. So I'm a trawler guy at trawler speed, so that makes sense. Okay, so when did you first meet George Bueller?
Actually, on one of our 44s, he came over. He was a little leery of some of the changes I was making.
Well, and you probably heard about you.
Yeah, I mean, you probably heard about me.
Yeah.
So you probably heard about Stella. So anyway, he came over and we did some sea trials and stuff. And at that time, we weren't doing the galley in the engine room, but he did like our woodwork. He liked the quality of the whole thing. So he gave us the stamp of approval, and we ended up building almost all the commercial diesel ducts that he designed.
And so now it is. George passed away last year in 2018.
Unfortunately, this is his last design.
Yeah, the Coot's his last design. How many diesel ducts have you put through the yard?
I don't really know, but I'm guessing it's around probably 50.
Okay.
But our fiberglass boats tend to be a little bit more popular. We actually have about 35 of just that 52 sedan out.
The Seahorse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Seahorse slide in. So that's an interesting one because you have a single engine version and a twin engine version.
Right. Well, remember I told you I bought the molds for that motor sailor?
Yeah.
Well, the Blaine Seeley, it was a very unique designer. His idea of a motor sailor was a trawler hull with a rig, not a sailboat with a big engine, like all progressive.
Yeah.
So he put his ballast in a very wide keel. He had a semi-displacement hull. Beautiful motor sailor. Easy 200 nautical mile a day boat. It's fast.
Okay, yeah.
But then people wanted a sedan. I said, well, I've got this trawler hull here that Blaine designed, so I redesigned it into the sedan. And you said we had twin or single.
Right.
Well, interestingly enough, when you put the twins in, you've got this 14-inch wide keel that's empty.
Huge center hallway.
Yeah, that you walk in.
Yeah.
It's the only 52-foot fiberglass boat with you can get 8 people standing in the engine room.
And you know this because you've done it.
Oh, I've seen it done at boat shows. I wasn't going to. They're all drinking beer out there.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you are going to head back to China. When do you leave? You go back?
I have to be at the airport on Monday night because I'm leaving 1:30 Tuesday morning.
All right. And do you have any plans to do any travel once you get back home, or will you be home?
I don't get to travel much.
Okay.
You know, I'm a kind of railroad fan. I would love to travel on the Chinese trains. I'd love to take the Trans-Siberian in Russia, but they just don't have the time.
Well, so let's talk about trains. I mean, I collect things. One of the things that I collect are boat emblems. I take photos of emblems of trawlers, and I'm going to put something on my website that has a whole library.
Well, I know you. I know all about that hobby, and you know what I've made for you?
No.
I made you a gift.
You did?
Yes. Where is it? Right here. This is the Seahorse boat emblem.
Oh,
for you to sit on your desk.
Thank you.
It's got your name there. And I'm thanking you for. I'm not sure what I'm thanking you for.
Thanking you for maybe not recording and putting this video online. Hey, this is fantastic. Thank you, Bill. That's awesome.
Well, we do appreciate your help.
Well, I enjoy your friendship, your company, and the boats you build, and the people who are out there playing around with them really do have a great time. But okay, so I collect these types of things.
Can I tell you a story about that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How did this logo come?
Well, it's our Seahorse line, so you got to have a seahorse.
Yeah.
Then they got laser cuts.
Who designed the Seahorse emblem?
We just copied it off the web.
You copied it?
Yeah, and then a guy with a laser thing cuts them for us. But my workers screw them on the boat, and they put one screw right here.
For the eye?
And it looks like an eye.
Yeah.
And they put one screw right here that looks like the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I had to tell them not to do
just
that.
The eye?
Yeah, I told them to put the screw over here. They thought that
this is more information than some of you may need to know, but this is all unedited, just straight from the
cover your
from the
kid's
horse's
eyes.
mouth. Yeah, the seahorse's mouth. All right, so tell me about your train collection.
Well, when I was a kid, about 2, my father bought me a train, which I later found out was used. I thought it was new. Middle of the Depression. I was born in 1936. And that was very nice, and people gave me some more trains, and I got more trains, and I had a table in the cellar next to the big coal stove.
Yeah.
We lived in upstate New York, and pretty soon I had an awful lot of trains, and I stored them out at my sister's ranch in the high desert in California, where they can't rust.
Are these the big Lionel?
Big Lionel trains.
So what year were those trains built? Is that a
Lionel started in like in 1910. But most of the trains that I have 200 sets of Lionel trains on the wall of my train room. I don't run them; they're just a display.
Their display. 200 actual cars.
Actual sets. A set is an engine, train, a complete train.
Oh my gosh!
And I'd say half of them, or maybe 2/3 of them, are pre-World War II, and the rest are after World War II.
Those are pretty valuable. I mean, train collecting is a big deal.
Well, it is a big deal, and they used to be very valuable, but the market has pretty much dropped out. You know why?
No.
The train collectors are all dying.
Oh, the train collectors are aging.
Including me.
No, you're not dying yet. I mean, you tried to yesterday, but we don't need to talk about that.
We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think it's kind of fun to have a passion like that to keep yourself amused. So one of our mutual friends, and I'll go ahead and mention his name, Michael Smith.
Yep, he'll be up here today.
Yeah, he's going to help you move the boat after the show. But I was talking to him. I said, I'm going to talk to Bill and record an interview for our cruising conversations. And I said, Michael, you have any questions for Bill? And he said, yeah. Why don't you ask him why every afternoon at 4 o'clock he breaks out the Oreos and the rum and Coke? So is that a true thing?
Well, we have customers come to the yard to visit, and they're all kicking around doing things. And I have to drive home from the yard, so I can't have a drink at 5:30.
No.
So around 4 or 4:30, we have everybody gathers in the train room, and we have rum and Diet Coke. I'm on a keto diet, so I don't eat.
Keto? You just
keto, Keto, keto.
I don't know that one.
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah, you should. It's basically trading cake and ice cream for steak and eggs.
So steak and eggs are good for you.
Steak and eggs are great for you.
Okay. Well, last night,
And butter.
Last night, because of your absence, Jim DeWitt, who's another good friend of yours and now a new friend of mine, had me over at the Richmond Yacht Club, and we had steak. So I was trying to live up to the new diet.
Was the steak any good?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Because I've had some pretty tough steaks.
No, Richmond Yacht Club, fantastic place and really great people there. So, all right, well, what, you want to say anything else? Got anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I'm sure there is, though. I'll think about when you turn the camera off.
Yeah. Well, why don't we go? Let's go to a different area of the boat, and maybe we can talk about some other stuff. I think we got enough here.
Take some pictures. Take some pictures of people enjoying themselves. Look.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we're probably blocking the foredeck from people coming up here to see it. But Bill,
there are boats all around us that are empty, and this boat's full of people.
And tell them about the shoe policy. I'm shaking your hand to say thank you.
Which shoe polish?
So on these boats, you're required to wear your shoes. Why?
Oh, definitely.
Why is that?
Well, George Bueller's attitude is that if shoes are going to hurt a boat, you don't want to go to sea in it. So we don't make people take shoes off.
Yeah. So that's kind of thrown off when the people go to the other boats and have to take their shoes off.
They all
running
complain.
back to the Coot. Yeah.
Yep.
Good. All right, let's go. We're going to go look at another area.
Hello, Jeff.
Hi, Bill. Hey, this Coot's got a lot of in volume here in the salon. What are we looking at?
Volume-wise, I don't know, but to tell you the truth, this is the first Coot we made with the fiberglass superstructure, and it gives us 6 inches more room inside.
Okay.
So there's no frame.
Opening windows, outboard on both sides.
The opening windows are all from a company that makes windows for ships. They have a dam, so the water can't be, the typhoon won't squirt it around.
How long is this bunk here?
All of our bunks and all of our headroom, 80 inches. It's 80 room.
While you're bumping your head, tell me why the table is up here.
Well, it's kind of hot. It works because it's out of the way, but you have to use chopsticks to kind of reach in and get the food to eat.
Oh, you eat up tight, so that's your diet. That's the keto diet you were telling me about? Okay.
Don't gain a lot of weight.
No, but that will then...
But if you have friends, you can lower it down, put it here.
Into this part. Yeah, that's really smart. All right, and then the galley is up forward.
Notice all the doors are louvered.
Every locker door is louvered.
Yep. So there's solid teak planking on the drawers.
Sink and galley area. Yeah, this is fabulous.
Tell me some of the things you've seen on the boat that you really like.
I like all the stainless steel hardware. I mean, you've got some beautiful cleats. The hawse pipes have the Seahorse name on them. That's a nice touch.
So people won't steal them.
They won't steal them?
Who's going to put a Seahorse cleat on somebody else's boat? Yeah.
So, yeah, that makes sense. I get it. I like your cushions and your seating area. So the hull is steel on the Coot, but the house is fiberglass.
Yes.
And how do you mate them?
Oh, you want to know how we do that? So you know that fiberglass and steel have a different elongation property when thermally.
Right. So in different sun or cold, they're going to...
One's going like this and one's going like this.
Yeah, so it's not possible to put them together, right?
Yes, it is possible.
Oh, it is possible.
It takes a trick. I've been doing it for 20 years. I've been putting fiberglass superstructures on steel hulls. The trick is you make your hull and your deck and you make a lip around it.
Okay.
But the corners of the lip have to be rounded. They cannot be 90 degree.
Okay.
You make your superstructure to fit over the lip with 90-degree angles. Now, when the hull expands, the corner of the superstructure is stressed this way.
Okay.
But if you had a steel 90-degree angle poking into the corner, then it would be pressing this way, pop it open. So that solves the problem of the corner. Now, obviously, there's going to be a very minor amount of movement caused by thermal stress.
Sure, yeah.
So when we make that lip, we put a steel T, all around, bunches of them, and then we glass the top of the T to the superstructure. Now that steel that's not glass can bend a little bit.
Okay.
So the hull can actually work back and forth just a little bit using a 5200 soft
caulking
material. You've never had a problem.
Now, the woodwork inside is beautiful. We've got
Thank you.
Beautiful teak woodwork. Where do you get your teak?
We just buy them by the log. There's a little notch in the log, and when I asked the supplier, "What's that notch for?" He says, "That's what the elephant hooks the trunk on to drag the logs out."
Have you ever been to one of the teak farms to see how?
Oh, I don't get to go anyplace. When you're in the boat business, you can't go anyplace.
So your trains are your escape.
Well, no, boat shows, have visitors, rum and coke at 4 o'clock. I have lots of ways.
What now? So we talked about rum and coke at 4 o'clock and Oreos. Do you get actual Nabisco Oreos or do you get Hydrox? Does it matter?
No. We actually get a soda crackers with cheese.
Okay.
And my wife is able to buy these big round cheeses from Denmark through a wholesaler. There's very good wholesale Western foods in China from special suppliers. And the delivery system, you can't believe. I can order butter from Shanghai. It arrives cold in my house.
I wonder if it was cold on the whole trip to your house or not.
Well, they do put a little frozen thingamabob in there, but it's basically overnight. It's kind of like Prime.
Okay.
Amazon.
Now, so back to the boat building. You have a steel boatyard for the diesel ducts and a fiberglass boatyard for the Seahorse.
Generally speaking, you do not build steel boats and fiberglass boats in the same yard.
Right. But do you have one cabinetry shop that does all the woodwork?
No, right now we do, because our fiberglass business is down a bit due to some problems with the lock.
We can fix that if you want to get a fiberglass boat. Bill can help you with that.
But the carpenter shop now is located at the steel yard.
Okay. What about the stainless steel railing? Do you do that all?
Both yards have a stainless shop.
Okay. All right. And then the painting of the boats, because you paint the fiberglass boats as well as the steel boats.
Yeah, we always paint our fiberglass boats. We use clear gel coat. That way you can spot any kind of entrapment of air inside or bad bonding and fix it. So put gel coat on.
The first coat in the mold is clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, first it's clear gel coat.
Interesting. Yeah. Who else does that? Does anybody else do that?
Well, I suppose probably some people do. Any yard that's building custom boats and does not know the color of the boat when it's finished will use clear gel coat, because
then they paint over the gel coat.
Then they paint over the gel coat with a DuPont Imron or Sterling or All Grip.
And do you do all the upholstery at the yard?
No, we had an upholstery shop. There's a curtain shop nearby our yard where a fellow started doing our canvas, and he did such a good job. He's doing all the cushions and canvas for all the shipyards in
carpeting as well.
Carpeting is just the carpet shop.
Okay.
They come in and make a template, and this is just laying here.
Yeah.
It's not like it's full.
No, that's good.
This carpet on he's not showing you the carpet because it's ugly, but it's to protect the teak and holly floor during the show.
Yeah.
And 5 years later, when I go to visit the customer, this carpet's still here. Nobody's ever seen the teak and holly.
Tell me about the decks themselves. So they're fiberglass decks that you're walking on, but
no, they're steel decks. In fact, the decks on this side decks are the tops of the fuel and water tanks.
Okay, but then you also put teak deck in the cockpit. There's some teak decking in this cockpit area back here.
Well, we sold. No, let me talk about it. We sold a 78-foot boat, and the guy wanted an artificial teak deck. Well, that's a lot of artificial teak deck, and he checked all the different manufacturers, and a company called Flex Teak.
Yep, yeah. There's Flex Teak and Flex.
Yeah, the Flex Teak is the best one. We actually put it on the floor of the workers' canteen at the door. All these different pieces of water.
Put it out in the sun. And
it got more use in a month than a boat will get in its whole life.
Right.
The Flex Teak is the best, but it's not cheap. But when I was building this Coot and the Flex Teak guy came, they come and measure and do all the cutting at their factory, and they just lay down big pieces, all pre-made. And he said, "I'll put teak deck on your cockpit of your Coot and on the swim platform for free, just as a gift."
Oh, okay.
First time we did it, everybody loves it. We're going to make it standard.
Yeah, it looks good. It's rich. It's not too much, and there's not a lot of exterior bright work you have to deal with on the boat.
The flagpole.
That's not a lot.
The West Marine flagpole. In 1 year, the varnish was all gone. I had to revarnish it for the show. That's the only teak we have.
Yeah, no, that's fabulous. Okay, well, you want to show me another area of the boat? You want to show me the pilot house?
We can go up and take a look.
Let's go take a look.
I see the Skip, the salesman from Oceanics, up there.
Yeah. Well, we can go up and see that, or we can go up and you can show me the cabin.
Well, I probably should go up and move all those signed contracts that he has laying around up there out of the way.
No, you should be putting them in your briefcase and make sure there's a deposit check that goes with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You drop the deposit check and see if it bounces.
Okay, Bill, why don't you show me what's going on in the stateroom?
Well, for one thing, we've got a nice walk-around queen-size bed, 80 inches long. You can put a headboard back here if you want to pay for pillows aft, or you can put it forward. Okay. That mirror opens up, and there's a watertight hatch, and then the anchor locker's inside. Okay. Pretty ordinary, small cabin. We have lots of indirect lighting, LED indirect lighting.
And then you have an ensuite head and shower.
Well, it's got a separate shower. The reason in my smaller Coot, I can't do both of these. I can do a side double and a separate shower. I can do an island bed and a wet head.
Yeah.
Nobody likes wet heads.
No.
But I'm going to show you the shower door.
Yeah, there's no shower door. That's too bad.
Oh, yeah. You were wrong, Jeffrey. This boat has the best shower door in the whole boat show. Look at this thing.
Oh.
Pretty nice, huh, Jeff?
You could transport yourself in time.
No, actually, we sell the shower door for $390,000 and we throw in the boat.
The boat's for free?
Yep.
That's great.
We use the all freshwater flushing.
Is that the Plantis model?
That's the tech model.
It's a tech.
And also we use the quiet flush. But we've ordered some Plantis for some other boats, so they may work out fine. Louver doors. It's our hanging locker, but actually we've snuck some electrical stuff in here, which you have to do for space. And one of the things I wanted to show you, Jeff, is this box right here.
Okay.
This is the isolation transformer, and all steel boats should have an isolation transformer.
Yes.
And yeah, we even put them in our fiberglass boats too.
Yeah.
Because it just solves so many problems with electrolysis.
That's great.
Now, probably we're the only yard that uses exclusively isolation transformer called a toroidal transformer. Toroidal transformers you see in computers are round like a donut.
Yep.
But we scale them up to 8 and 12 kW. Cool, efficient, and no heat.
Oh, good.
So it's a much better transformer than the welding type most boats use.
Yeah.
I don't know why other yards aren't picking this up, because it's a very superior transformer.
Another great aspect on the Seahorse Marine built boats.
Yeah, we also have our solar panel regulator here. So we have a 100-watt solar panel on every boat. Okay.
Thank
Jeff.
you, Bill. Well, Bill, let's wind it up in the Pilothouse. So tell me a little bit about what you have going up here.
Well, it's just relatively ordinary Pilothouse, and a small boat like this, of course, we've got to put the engine under the Pilothouse floor.
Right.
So there's 3 hatches here that lift up, and you have to basically walk around the engine room. We have genset, and Kubota 85 on this particular boat, double Raycor filters. And one of the things we do is the genset filter is the same filter as the engine filter. That way you only have to carry one.
Oh,
you go out to sea.
Okay.
Or people pick out electronics. We don't do it.
You give them a nice console for putting on what they want.
We actually have contractors in Hong Kong who can outfit the boat to their specs. But for the boat show, I put it in the Axiom system, which is Wi-Fi to the radar antenna, no wires.
Good. Well, Bill, thank you again for your time, giving me a tour here, talking to you about Seahorse Marine, your history. You're a good friend, and I appreciate all of your ideas and support. Thank you for.
Well, thanks for coming all the way from Southern California.
I know it was, boy, it was fun. Yeah. So we'll do it again another time, maybe. I don't want to come over to your yard and see your train collection.
Yeah, I want you to come over and see the train.
And see Stella.
Yeah.
So Stella, thank you.
Well, you can visit the other yards that are in the area too, because there's quite a lot of yards in the Zhuhai area. Right now.
Well, I'd love to do that. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Thanks, Bill. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Trawler fans. Thank you for watching the JMYS YouTube video channel. I'm fortunate to be offshore again. If you'd like to subscribe to this channel, you can click the button below. We also like to publish other listings and other trawler skills videos. You can click on one of those on the side to watch those. Thank you very much for your thumbs up. We love having you watch our videos. We love putting them together for you, and hope you come back again soon.